Hi, my name's Sam Tyrrell. I'm a dad of two, personal trainer, husband, should have put that in earlier, nutritionist, student, dog owner, and everything else I've probably got going on too, business owner. And I just want to share how I managed to get and now continue to stay in shape with all of the other parts of my life I have going on, because obviously when you've got those bits, they are much more important than staying in shape most of the time, or they have a higher priority. So it can be very easy to let your nutrition and your physique slip to what you may not like. And so I just want to share how I managed to get back into shape, where a physique I wasn't super happy with to a physique I was happy with. I was able to do that, balancing everything else I've got going on. So if you are very busy but you still want to get in shape, it's very important to focus on the most important thing, which I'll go into in a second. But secondly, it's important that you choose a way of doing it that you can stick to, that you enjoy, and that you can do consistently. Because there's some kind of quote or saying or whatever. It's people overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a month. And it's very much the first week of a diet, there's very little change, and that's when most people give up, because they've chosen a way of dieting that's too difficult, they don't enjoy, and it feels like a very long time if you don't enjoy something. Whereas if you look at a 12-week change, which I'll show you in a second, which is what I did, you can notice a very real change. But 12 weeks, again, is a very, very long time if you don't enjoy something. So it's very important you stick. You choose a way to try and lose fat that you can stick to. And the way that I do it, which I'll go into in a second, very basic. So what I did, or the most important thing I focused on, was calories, which no one likes to hear, but calories matter, and they cut through every diet there is around. As in, all I did was, there was no food I avoided. Obviously, if you're allergic to a food, you'll need to watch out for that, but there was no food I actively avoided. I had cake, chocolate, I had loads of birthdays, I had drinks, whatever, but I just focused on eating less calories than my body needed. And I also weighed myself daily, which is a habit to get into, and it's just and I tracked my average weight over the week and just compared that to my calories. I'll show you a spreadsheet of this because it makes much more sense when you see it in person. But all I did was track my calories and my weight, stuck to them, and actually I'll show you the results first. So this is where I started. I was actually quite fit at this stage, but I look, for myself, I look pretty average. I'm not overweight by any means, but I wasn't particularly happy with this. This was just from, like I said, I was training a bunch, but I just wasn't really watching what I was eating. I was enjoying training, and I was just eating what I wanted. Hanging out with my kids and eating what they ate, cleaning up, eating their food, and just not really worrying about anything. But I just wanted to be in better shape than I was here. And then if I fast forward 12 weeks, this is what I ended up with. So I was doing this unflex to make it as consistent as possible. So my abs popped out a little bit more. I was much leaner and just felt much better in general. Like I said, it's pretty unflexed, but hopefully that you can see a decent change from the 12 weeks. And all that was straight fat loss. There wasn't really any muscle gain in that. I lost a little bit of muscle with it, but I lost a lot of fat too. I don't do loads of flex pictures, but I'll flick to a next one where you can see it in a bit more of an athletic position. But if you go to a bit more of a favourable position, I just look a bit more well muscled, and obviously my abs are sticking out a little bit more just because of general lighting and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, it was just a nice change from where I was to where I got to, and it wasn't too much effort to get there. And I'll show you what I was talking about with tracking weight and calories, etc. So this is where the magic happens. It's just a simple spreadsheet, and I've got my 12 weeks on here. So 1 to 12 all the way down here. And you can see I'm tracking my weight and my calories. I wasn't tracking my protein, fruit and veg, steps and stuff because I'm good on that. That's normally for my clients that I use that, but I already nail those pretty well. But yeah, you can just see I'm tracking my weight, and the most important boxes really are the orange ones. So that's my average of the week. Weight will fluctuate a huge amount over your week. The average weight is the most important. Okay, you can lose a kilo, gain a kilo, whatever, day to day, but the average is the most important. And then you can see my calorie total. It's quite high, but there's a reason for that. So I really wasn't depriving myself, and yeah, you can just see it just gradual loss. If you scroll across to the right, you can see the change, and then so 1.6, 1.7, 0.3. So again, it doesn't, the first week or two will be a little bit quicker because of water loss and that kind of stuff, but you know, it's still nice to see. And yeah, you can just go down, and the weight's just gradually coming down. And then you can see again another right column, my overall weight loss, so 5.5, all the way down to a 7.5 kilo loss over the 12 weeks, which is pretty good going, and most of that would have been fat. So yeah, but the point is, all I'm tracking is my weight and my calories, and yeah. So obviously what I've showed you is just a very simple and effective way of losing weight, and that is the theory of it, and that's literally just how weight loss works. It doesn't matter what diet you're doing. If you're eating in a slight calorie deficit or eating slightly less calories than your body needs to then you'll lose weight, and that's just what will happen. It doesn't matter if you're low carb, gluten-free, ketoing. If you're in a calorie deficit, you'll lose weight. Or even if you're eating junk food in a calorie deficit, you will still lose weight. But the most important thing that you need to do is learn how to track effectively, and that's one of the points you need to bear in mind. It's making sure you're tracking correctly, which takes a little bit of practice. You know, obviously eating out socially, because you know, a diet shouldn't impact your social life or how you operate day to day. You know, if you're just a normal person trying to get into weight, lose some weight. And then secondly, it's learning how to eat healthily, or we kind of call it like macro friendly, just easier ways of making your calories work for you. So it's I think of it like a calorie budget. So obviously you could spend your calories on a load of chocolate, and technically you would lose weight even if you're eating in a calorie deficit, but it's a very ineffective way of doing things in the long run. Like, that's when it comes in, when food quality comes in. You know, it's about eating lots of quality lean protein, vegetables, all that stuff comes in. So that's another point. So yeah, first point is learning how to track in day-to-day life, and the second point is learning how to make your calories work for you so you actually enjoy your way of eating without being hungry all the time. So that will be my next two videos. Hopefully I'll have a link for them below this video, but so the first one will be how to actually track in your actual life. So obviously you're not just going to be like eating out of Tupperware all the time. You'll be eating on the fly. You'll be eating at your parents' house, your parent-in-law's house, or at restaurants, and those are the things which are a little bit harder to do. So it's important to be able to actually track correctly. And the second video is just what type of food should you eat. Effectively, you can eat what you want, but there are better ways of eating to make sure, basically the most important thing is to make sure you stay full and satisfied, and you don't binge on a load of whatever junk food you're craving at the time. And that's what I said, being able to do that over a long period of time, like 12 weeks, is the most important thing that's going to ensure success. So I hope this video has been helpful in explaining at least the theory of how you lose fat for parents or dads or whatever, but really whoever needs to lose weight, it's just those people tend to have less time or mental energy. So focusing on the most important factor in fat loss, which is calories, is a very effective way of losing fat, because you just don't have time to worry about all the diet fads around. And if you just focus on hitting your calorie target and being in that calorie deficit, and then tracking your weight over a sustained period of time, you will see results. But I'll link a couple of videos below, like I said, and hopefully they'll be helpful too. So if you're interested in learning more, just check out some of the videos below, which should explain more fully how you can actually implement this in your life.